chopping our sudex today. We have all kinds of things happening. We're hauling all them bales of soybean straw in that we baled, and they're here chopping our sudex. They're just about done with this field, and then we're going to direct cut this one field. But yeah, this stuff's really adding up. It's making a pile of stuff. So anyhow, yeah, we're filling this trench in here beside the ag bag. That's where we're putting the sudex. We had put those 6 load we had did earlier. We had most of that fed up already, and there might have been a load or load and a half left in there, but it wasn't much. Yeah, we have a concrete block we put on the back of our tractor, and then we have that's a 12-foot blade on the front of it. It packs pretty good. They're here direct cutting our sorghum today. This is the same field we had direct cut triticale in the spring. So yeah, we're using the same direct cut head that they did for this triticale. I had mentioned about planting a couple different varieties in here. You can really see them in here since they opened it up. This one shorter stuff here is a BMR dwarf sorghum. Then there's some taller, let me see, over here's one of the taller ones. Right here's a taller one. It's got more of a reddish head, and that's a sorghum as well. That's still a BMR sorghum. Then there's 2 different kinds of Sudan grass in here. Yeah, there's the one kind there, and then there's some that's way taller. So anyhow, it's all BMR. So we didn't really go by any mix. It was actually a bunch of different varieties that we had here of different ones. But yeah, this was no-tilled into the field where we took triticale off, and we did spray it there in the spring, but other than that we didn't do anything to it. Hauled manure on it. It's gonna be a good bit of stuff in here. just about done with this field of sorghum and sudex that we're direct cutting. The field here is about 13 acres. Like I said before, it's the same field we direct cut the triticale this spring. And it looks like it's gonna make really nice feed. Yeah. Right over this one ridge here when it was dry earlier this summer, it wasn't the tallest stuff there, but yeah. Other than that, it's really piling up. Yeah, the grains on this stuff are about perfect. I don't know if you'll be able to see here if I squeeze that one further. Yeah, there it is. It's just sort of milky and doughy. They're not hard yet, but they're still doughy inside, so that's a good thing. That's where you get your energy from. If you wait till they get hard, they won't digest them, and then you go straight through the cow and you lose your energy. Yeah, here's another good example of the different varieties. This one here's got more of a reddish head. There's another that's got a reddish head. And some of them are more of that kind of a pale green, almost a white head. And yeah, you can see the difference in the different sudexes here too. So I'm really curious what this stuff will test. Hopefully we've had sorghum before, but we've had sudex before. We planted both for a lot of years, but we never mixed them like this, like we did in this field. Here's what the silage or the sorghum looks like after it's chopped up. I'm gonna guess by feeling it, it's probably around 70% moisture. Yeah, when you can squeeze it together and it flops apart right like that. If it's much wetter than that, it'll stick together more. But yeah, we're really getting this trench filled up. I think we got about probably 8 or 9 more loads total, and it's gonna be filled up pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna guess we're gonna have probably 42 to 46 loads, somewhere in there, but we'll see what we get when we get done. Yeah, we're gonna cover it here this afternoon when everybody gets done milking here about 5 o'clock probably. We're in our last field here. We've got 2 big long rows yet, and then it'll be done. Yeah, we did get a pretty hard frost last night. These rows were already merged up on windrows, so we're gonna get a sample pulled on it before we feed any of it to see if we need to let it sit a while, see whether it's got that uric acid that it can get that'll make cows sick or kill them. Yeah, it can kill cows. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff on them windrows. We're just about done. There's one more load here to unload yet. It's really piling up here. wanted to give you a little update here on this sudex we put in the trench. We did it here about 10 days or so ago, but yeah, we got 42 loads total, I think it was. That one field that was straight sorghum, or had the sorghum and the sudex mixed, or had a couple different mixtures in it. We got 16.5 loads of that, and that was the same field that we direct cut the triticale in, or the same field that we did that. And so I think we got 19 or 19.5 loads of that direct cut triticale, and then 16.5 of the sorghum. And that would have been about a 13 or 13.5 acre field, I think is what it comes up with. So yeah, that field really turned off good for the year as far as yields, for the total yields for the year. And then the rest of the sudex was probably where we had straight sudex, where we had planted that after we combined wheat. That was averaging about 10 to 12 ton of the acre. And yeah, all of it looks like it's going to make really good feed. What we have here in the front is the sorghum that was mixed with the sudex. We got that tested, and yeah, it's testing really good. Got pretty good energy in it. The digestibility is pretty high. It is a BMR sorghum, and the protein, I think it was around 10% on it. So yeah, and cut length, it got really good. It really packed nice into the trench. On the sample we pulled, it showed plenty high in moisture, maybe around 74, 75%, but it don't seem that wet. But yeah, I mean, we're not getting any juice out of the trench or anything, so I don't know. Yeah, we might have to pull another sample here in a week or so. But for sorghum, I prefer it a little on the wet side versus on the dry side. I mean, you don't want it too wet, but yeah, it does make a lot better digestible feed if it's a little on the wet side. But this trench over here, we have a side wall and a back wall on it, and then the other side we use an ag bag. And the only thing with the ag bag, you got to be careful when you're filling it and feeding you out of it. But other than that, it seals really good. I'll maybe try to go up on top here and show you a little bit of that. It's really windy today, so I don't know if it'll be picking some of that up or not. But yeah, we'll see what we can do here. We're actually really dry right now. We had all that rain there in September, about 12 days of just dreary, damp weather. We had like 3.5 inches, and then it dried off, and I don't think we got enough to more than make the road wet since that. And that's been about a month ago now, or close to a month ago, at least 3 weeks ago when it quit raining. And yeah, we actually could use a good rain again, so hopefully we'll get some. It's the last small grain we planted. It's coming up, but up over the ridges, it definitely needs a good shower to get it coming right. But yeah, you can see a little bit here, our trench over here, he got it nice and full, so we're sure thankful for that. We had a little bit, this is the same trench where we had put them couple load of sudex we chopped back in the beginning of September that was planted in that field of beans. So total we probably have, I'm gonna guess 650 to 700 tons in here with that, so with everything that's in here. So yeah, it ought to make a lot of really nice feed. But yeah, here this is our dry cow barn right over here. There's our dry cows and bred heifers standing there eating. There's a drive-through lane here along the edge of this where we can drive the mixer wagon down through and feed them. So, but yeah, going back to this trench here, we pile it up right to the edge, and then we get the plastic wide enough it comes over, at least over to the middle of the top of the bag or a little better, so you don't have water running off the bag down into the trench. But yeah, it actually seals up better along here than it actually does on a trench wall. So we've done it like this for years. And then over here on where the wall is, we use two different kinds of plastic. We use that clear oxygen bearing and white plastic. Then we lay our tires down against the wall, and then we have stone bags that we stick right against the wall. And we have very little spoilage of any, on maybe just a little bit right at the very tippy corner. Like I say, the tippy corner, right at the very corner might be a little discoloring, and every now and then you might have some mice. get to working in it or something, have a little bit more than that. But unless there's a hole gets into plastic, we have very little spoilage, and that sure is a blessing, because yeah, you don't want to feed spoiled feed. I mean, you got to start forking much off of it. That's no fun either. So yeah, sometime I'll try to do an update of all of our forages that we got this year. Yeah, maybe the next couple weeks here I'll try to do that. But even with the drier year, we put up a lot of feed this year, and that's a good thing, because we need a lot to keep everything going and keep everybody fed. Wasn't sure how it was all going to work out there part of the year, but overall it turned out really good. Yeah, here's our corn silage trench, and it packed really good. I mean, it's around 70-71% moisture, and it's just packed in there like bricks. I mean, you about can't take your hand. I mean, you can work it loose, but it's not like you can just like dig at it. You kind of got to work at it. So that's good. That really helps keep it good. And yeah, I'll just show you here a little bit. Right there's the corner of the trench, like the corner, like where the silage comes down against the wall. There's no spoilage whatsoever there on this side. This other side has a wee little bit of spoilage. You can see there, it's just a little bit of discoloration right at the very corner, but it's very minimal. It's just a slight little bit, but other than that, the top's sealed good and keep it good, and we almost never have any spoilage on the top unless we get a hole in it, or once in a great while if we cut the plastic back too far when it's still warmer weather. In the winter we can get by with cutting the plastic back by once a week. In the summer, probably 3 to 4 days is about max, because with the heat, yeah, if you cut it back any more than that, you start getting a little bit of more right where the edge of the plastic is, kind of where it's sweating. Yeah, you start getting a little bit of like mold spots. Not really spoiled as such, but it definitely isn't the greatest anymore. But yeah, in the winter we can easily get by with cutting back once a week. Sometimes if it's in the dead of winter and it's really cold and they're calling for snow or something, we'll even cut it back, maybe even last a little longer than that. But here's our Springer pen right now. We had a pile of cows fresh here in the last 2 weeks, cows and heifers. Actually, about half of what we had fresh was heifers. And yeah, I'm gonna guess we had at least 25 fresh in the last 2 weeks. I'd have to look on my chart there, but it might be a few more than that. But we still got about 12 or 14 springers here. Not quite as many, but and some of these are still back a good 10 days, 2 weeks. There might be 5 or 6 in here that's really close. But someone had asked in the last video about what happened to my fingers. Yeah, you probably noticed there when I was showing them soybeans, you could see my cut off fingers really good. It was actually I mentioned this in another video a good many months ago, but for some of you newer ones that maybe didn't see that, the first one I lost when I was 7 years old in a joiner. I was messing with something I shouldn't have been, and the board kicked out, and I was trying to smooth, plane the edge of a board with a joiner, and the board kicked out and my finger went down in the joiner. And then the second one, I was pinched in the ramp of a cattle truck when I was probably 22 or 23, 24, somewhere in there. Our oldest son was 1 and he's almost 30, so he had me 28 or 29 years ago. And yeah, so it was 2 different accidents. The interesting thing was, if the first one wouldn't have been missing when the second one went, it would have went with it. It actually nicked the third one just a little bit. It had a little cut on the side of it. But so yeah, the first one I grew up without it, and I still have my joint there, so it don't really bother me. The second one, I don't have my joint, and it's a lot harder on the end and tighter. And yeah, it's probably miss that one more than the other one. They do get cold quicker in the winter time when it gets cold out, but other than that, that's just part of life, and that's the way it is. I've learned to deal with it. But yeah, I've learned to do a lot of things with using like when you go to pick up something small, using my third finger with the fingernail. I can do a lot of stuff with the first one too. But yeah, just thought I would share that for those of you that might have been wondering. So This morning is Thursday, October the whatever today is.
24th.
Today is Thursday, October the 24th. Lois and I took a couple days off here and came down to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, down to the Smoky Mountain area, and our anniversary's here in about 3 weeks, so we wanted to come down here and take a trip. And we've been wanting to come down here sometime when the leaves are changing, and right here around our house they're not changing a whole lot yet, or the cabin, the Airbnb that we have, but boy, over on the mountains they're just beautiful. So it's Thursday morning here and the sun's just about ready to come up. Let me try to get a little video for you, but we don't work all the time. We try to get breaks every now and then. It's always good to get away and rejuvenate.
From the east to the west, with the heart of gratefulness, lift up your voice and sing, lift up a shout of praise. Shout of praise from the north to the south. Let it rise and ring out. Oh, lift up your voice and sing. You lift up a shout of